Hey guys, so I was watching this video from Tectone, and at first I'm like, okay, what's he? What kind of clickbait is it? Because it says Mahoyo ruined it again. I'm like, okay, techie, I'll, I see you got that line out. I'll bite. But he actually made valid points, and he was talking about the storytelling in Genshin Impact. How some of these quests that you do are absolutely amazing. But then you have someone like Yaemiko, who is hyped up. Um, we saw her in the Archon quest, and we're like, oh my god, we cannot wait for this character to come out, and for us to get her and to see her quest. But most of it was, going around trying to find some fucking dude who is possessed by a spirit, and then you do a dungeon. But you're not really learning much about the character. It's like, okay, we exorcised those demons. Oh, let's write a fucking book now. It's just you're interacting with all these. He's like, you're interacting with all these village people. These NPCs that you're not going to give a fuck about after the quest ends. Yaemiko, huge, huge lore character in Inazuma. Totally powerful, badass character. I love her style, love her character, love the voice acting for it, love her power. And the way he says, they did her dirty. They didn't give her the proper quest that she deserved. Same thing with like Raiden Shogun. There's the Tartaglia one where with his brother Tusser, and you have to fucking show Tusser. I mean, it's a Tartaglia quest line, but yet 95% of it you're spending with Tusser, showing him around Liyue and doing stupid shit. It's like this was a child quest line, right? When we're talking about child with an E at the end. I didn't want an actual child quest line. So, yeah, so they have you going around and interacting with all these NPCs that you're not going to give a fuck about after, when the quest storylines for the characters should be focused on those characters. It's okay to introduce and have some NPCs, but to spend as much time as we have to with them, it takes away from the character themselves. What was the other thing he said? Like, if you want them to do that, just have them as like little quests. You see a little blue exclamation mark above their head, and like, oh, okay, let's get to know these characters a little more. But to have them part of the quest is stupid. Because I don't give a shit about them. He said, for example, have multiple paths that you could go, kind of like the hangout events. They already have that technology in the game. So he said, as an example, what about like Liyue, Hu Tao. Hu Tao's trying to build business for the funeral parlor, trying to get business in, and you can either help her out and tell her what she's doing is wrong and go about it differently, or pretty much help her dupe people. And he said, well, who would want to buy a ticket for the afterlife when they die? Who can you think of that is so unlucky that he has to constantly worry about death? Bennett. And he's like, wouldn't it be hilarious and great just to see Hu Tao take all this more from Bennett, because he's so unlucky, and that each adventure he has could be his last. So she's racking in the Mora from Bennett, but could also have different paths. But we want to see more of the main character. There's so many characters to choose from. Look at like Noelle. Most people forgot Noelle even existed. Kaya, same thing. He said it'd be cool to see Kaya, since Kaya's a fucking jerk, and he's duped us in the past about, oh my god, there's a place full of treasure and this super duper sword. And he's like, yeah, I was just fucking with you. He's like, wouldn't it be great if he goes to Inazuma, during this time. He's in Inazuma undercover for whatever reason, and he hears about the whole thing about praying and incantation or whatever that makes your wishes happen. And this whole fucking time, you're not believing him. And then he's like, no, you gotta believe me. This actually, I'm not messing with you this time. And you get to interact with a character like Kaya. So you have so many characters that you just don't interact with. What would be another cool character? I mean, there are a few of them that don't really get any screen time. Chi-Chi really doesn't get a lot of screen time. Actually, where is he? He pulls up the game, and he's like, oh, you have all these characters. Where is it? Blah, 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 blah. Come on. Is that at the end? Yeah, Kazuha could have been a cool one. Eula, ugh. Like I said, the child quest was annoying. It's like, oh yeah, it's about child, but you're gonna have to take care of his kid brother all fucking day. But you have, let's see, Albedo, Zhongli, Shenhe. I mean, even more since it was like exorcism type things, and she's an exorcist. An exorcist. Even though she's in Leeway, they could have gotten her over. It's like, oh yeah, I've seen this stuff before, and blah blah blah. Eula. Ito. I mean, there's so many characters that they could have interact with one another, even if they're from a different place. Like I said, having Hu Tao interact with Bennett, saying, oh yeah, for the afterlife, because he would be someone who's concerned about dying all the fucking time. So to have all these crap characters interact with each other, people we don't give a fuck about. Or Mona, Yoimiya. I mean, all these characters we don't see very often now, if at all. They had their quests, and that's like, that's it. I mean, especially with the last Lantern Rite, it's been said that Yoimiya supplies a lot of the fireworks to the festival. Wouldn't it have been great to, while we're doing the whole Lantern Rite thing, we go to Inazuma, talk to Yoimiya, and say there's something wrong with the fireworks, or fireworks have been taken, and this and that, and we get fireworks, interact with her, and blah blah blah. It'd be a great way to get two lands together without having to do too much, because Yoimiya is said to be supplying the fireworks, a lot of the big heavy duty super duper ones, to Leeway every year for their Lantern Rite. So wouldn't it be cool to see that come together? Two major characters interacting with each other, or us kind of being the, in between. Like I said, Shenhe. Inazuma has possessions, and even though Miko is well within her power to take care of it, she fucks with us like she normally does. It's like, oh, I just don't have the power to do that right now, or, oh, well, I'm not getting involved. You'll just have to find someone to do it. Well, who better for exorcisms than an exorcist, like, Chongyun or Shenhe? That'd be so cool to have to go to Leeway to bring them back to Inazuma. And obviously we go over there and we probably catch them in the middle of a fight or something. We have to help them, and oh yeah, this and that, blah blah blah, and then after bring them back. But God, I love Miko so much. They really did do her dirty, because or Kazuha, like I said. What about Amber? Amber doesn't do anything anymore. People completely forget that Noelle's even a character. Barba doesn't do anything. Xinyan doesn't do anything. Toma, when's the last time we saw Toma? Perfect time in these Archon quests to use Toma, who is kind of a diplomat there, who is able to get around and with all the groups of people, and he's the one who helps us basically essentially become a citizen of Inazuma. Or Lisa. Oh, Miko doesn't want to help us with the exorcism and this and that. We don't know the spell. Maybe there's a book we can find, not in Inazuma, but maybe there might be a book in Lisa's vast library to help us. Let's go talk to Lisa. But instead, they have you going around talking to 4 or 5 NPCs that you don't give a shit about, who you're not going to care about afterwards. They're going to have a unique little part, but then you talk to them again. It's like, oh, I'm so glad about today. It's such a nice day. And they go back to the same NPC style chatter that they do. So I completely agree that they could be doing so much more with these characters. All of them are amazing characters, except for Xinyan. She fucking sucks. I like her design, but the whole, she's loud. That southern accent for no fucking reason. She's from Liyue, which is based on China. Why does she have a southern accent? Either don't give. I understand it's English voice actors, but or Yanfei, a lawyer. She's a fucking lawyer. Why is she not involved more? The only person you couldn't use is Aloy. She'd be the only person because she's not actually part of the team. It's just like a promotion type thing. But excluding Aloy. So with Miko, like I said, you just went around, talked to people, and there was a little moment where you're fighting, where she's doing the ceremony at the top of the Narukami Shrine, and you gotta stop the monsters from making their way up. It's not that hard. You would think that they're actually walking up the path. No, they stay in one place. Once they see you, they don't bother. But so much could have been done, but they did her dirty. Same, like I said, with the Raiden Shogun, you're going around talking to random people, and they're talking about Dango milk. And I've said this before, they always bring up food. Like, oh yes, let's go out to eat here. And then they're like, oh yes, that dish was delicious. It was a perfect blend of this and spice, and the sauce they used was absolutely, it just, no one cares. Like, I understand dialogue is hard to write, but not every quest needs food in it. You don't need characters sitting around. I understand they're also trying to make it feel more realistic because, you're out, after all this work, you're going to get hungry. And if you go to a place with a dish that really knocks your socks off, you're going to talk about it. So, but this is a video game, and don't try to put so much realism in it, like I said, with the food, when they go into depth about the food, you're taking away, stuff from the actual character, especially if it's not that character who's talking about it. So it just annoys me because some of the quests are absolutely amazing. One of the ones that people love was for fighting Osile. That quest, absolutely amazing. Fighting Osile, that whole watching the Jade Chamber just fucking plummet onto the top of it, seeing the Adepti and the humans work together, and finding out Zhongli's reason behind it. It was amazing storytelling. Venti, whenever you see Venti, his is always amazing storytelling. I might be a little biased here with Venti, but Venti, amazing storytelling. What was another quest? Klee. I absolutely adored Klee's quest, especially at the very end where the Abyss Mage blows up. She gets so sad thinking that she's done something wrong, and she's like, oh, Mr. Fluffy Ball blew himself up. She's so sad that this Abyss Mage blew up, and just going around with Klee and her treasure and this and that, I love it. But then you have some of the later, like the new one. There's the event going on in Enkonomiya And it's cool. There's two versions of Economia right now. There's the real version, and then there's the event version. And it's really fun because you can go around finding treasure, stuff like that, and you get a free weapon essentially when you. It's basically like a Statue of the Seven. You got to offer the tokens to it, whether sun token. I forgot what they're called, but it's got 15 levels, and I did it all in one day. It's real fucking easy to do, and basically everything's done on there for me. But you get to go around and you get to have this Boksu box where things are corrupted with darkness, and you use the box and it purifies it, because when it's corrupted with darkness you can't kill it really. But there's a whole storyline. It was actually a really cool storyline with certain characters that you meet and implications, but it was a really cool storyline. I really enjoyed it. You got to go to the 3 towers, and so if you guys are doing that right now, you probably know how easy it was, but it was a cool story. And then the final, like culminates in the final battle with some bishops, and they're a lot easier than the boss mode, the world boss ones. But it's a cool event. Like I said, the story was really good, and it's stuff like that because you are interacting with characters, but there's the one character that you're interacting with the most, because that's the character you really want to know about. But Yae Miko, you should be spending all that time with Miko. She's an amazing character. So he also said there's still the plethora of fucking problems. The resin issue, the fact that you can't toggle your constellations because so many people got like C6 Bennett right off the bat and they didn't think about it, and now they're stuck with that final one, which is really, really bad. So being able to toggle on and off certain constellations would really help. The resin problem is still a problem. The drop rates for certain items. What else would be an issue? Not being able to, it takes forever to get that perfect piece, that perfect artifact. There should be some kind of re-roll system for artifacts. It's like, oh yeah, I got this piece, but I don't like the defense on it. The defense percentage and flat defense. And like once a week, you can re-roll the stats. It would be really cool just to re-roll stats. But yeah, storytelling. Some of it's great, some of it's not. But it's she's such an amazing character. Not to mention she's a kitsune, which I love my fox girls. But yeah, storytelling is a huge problem sometimes. But either way. But yeah, just I completely agree with what he's saying, that don't focus so much on the NPCs. If we're on a Yae Miko, quest, the story quest, let me spend time with her. Let me get to know her. I don't care about the NPCs. I don't. Let me spend time with these characters and have them interact with other characters. Like I said, exorcisms going on. Yae Miko is talking, doing her, typical, joking around, fucking with you thing. And you have to find someone like an exorcist who can help you out, or a book about exorcisms. You can either go talk to Lisa, or you can go find Changyun or Shenhe, or just interact with other characters. But that's not going to happen anytime soon. Either way, that's going to do it for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.